get ready to get sticky. Sticky Situations is sponsored by Corona Crush. Corona Crush is creating Jewish couples always. Join the Facebook group. Just search Corona Crush and look out for virtual speed dating events happening every other week. They're 100% free and 100% Jewish.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Sticky Situations. I'm your host, Rachel, which obviously you already know because we're a lot of episodes in, and I'm just unforgettable. Whatever platform you're listening on right now, go follow, subscribe. If it's on Apple Podcasts, give it a 5-star rating and a glowing review. Go like Sticky Situations page on Facebook. Follow Sticky Situations Pod on Instagram. Follow Sticky Situations Pod on TikTok. Yes, I've been lacking in the social media, but sometimes I try, so just go follow. I think I'm funny sometimes. So along those lines, if you want to be a guest on my podcast, you can. There are links you could apply today. So there's a link on the Instagram page. There's a link on the Facebook page. Also, my main sponsor, Corona Crush, there's a handy little link in all of my posts for the episodes. So come apply to be a guest on my podcast. Same goes for if you would like to date me or any of my single guests on the podcast. So there's applications for those, or you can send me a DM on Instagram at StickySituationsPod or an email at StickySituationsPod@gmail.com. Okay, everybody. We have an extra special episode today, so I'm just going to get into it. I have a really, really extra special guest. I literally cornered him at an event, and I'm like, you're coming on my podcast. So everyone, please welcome to the podcast, Mikey Greenblatt.
Hey.
Mikey, welcome to the podcast.
Hey, thanks for having me, Rachel.
Thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Do you want to just tell my listeners who don't know who you are a little bit about yourself and who you are and what you do?
Yeah.
And why you're qualified to talk about what we're going to be talking about?
Yeah. My name is Mikey Greenblatt. I was born in Englewood Hospital, New Jersey. They had great physicians there, great doctors, so I just wanted to give them a shout out. I try to give them a shout out as often as possible. I do stand-up comedy. I've been trying to fill the endless void of the lack of validation that I received as a child, so I've been doing that for a while. And I'm a Jew. Yeah, that's
Okay.
about it. And I have, I've been in the dating game. I get it. I've been around, and it's the wild, wild west out there.
It definitely is. Also, just a couple quick facts for my listeners. Can you tell me and my listeners just your age, location, relationship status, and religious denomination?
Wow. Yeah, I'm 26 years old. I'm a total Gemini. I think that's important to, because that would be on my bio.
I love other people who embrace their astrological sign because, I'm 100% a Scorpio.
Right.
And,
Yeah, you give off big Scorpio vibes.
Yeah,
big
big
time.
Scorpio energy.
Yeah.
Gemini, I think, is my moon sign. Or
Okay.
I can't remember. I think I'm a Gemini moon and a Cancer rising.
Wow.
But it might be opposite. Yeah, I'm all the crazies.
It's super effective.
Yeah, I'm all of the crazies.
That's great. I didn't know that astrological signs were a thing until college. Like yeshiva, they don't teach you. That's gauchious. That's heretical. I feel like Rashi wasn't talking about astrological signs. It wasn't like Moshe was a total Scorpio,
Actually, I mean, probably not. Oh my gosh, Moshe. I wonder if when's his birthday? We know
Moshe?
Moshe's birthday, yeah.
Yeah, we know it.
When is it? Do you remember?
Yeah. This is where you plug in just an automated voice saying Moshe's birthday was.
Let me look it up.
He was born in a basket, I think.
Moses'
Moshe
birthday
was born in a basket.
Because, honestly, we could, no, it just has the year on here. Oh.
Really? What year was he born in?
No.
He was definitely born in BC. I know that much.
February 26th. According to this
Was that President's Weekend?
JewishCurrents.org.
Was he born? Is that why we have it?
President's Weekend. February 26th. So that makes him a Pisces.
Yeah.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Do Pisces break the Luchot? What's a Pisces sign?
I don't know. I'm going to be really honest with you. I really only know my sign.
Okay.
And I know
that's such a Scorpio thing to say, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I'm totally self-absorbed. It's a Scorpio thing. I know a few, okay, I think I know the signs of the guys I dated, a little bit about them.
Really?
Yeah.
Does that affect who you choose?
No, but my old coworker, who I'm still very good friends with, every time I start talking to a new guy or start dating someone, she's like, find out their birthday.
Right.
So I do, and then she tells me if we're compatible or not.
Wow. See, that would get in my head if someone's like, you're not compatible with this person because they're at whatever rising. And
I mean, like, I will tell you, one of my exes was an Aries, and Aries and Scorpios are just, like, not compatible because, like, Aries is, like, very much center of attention, like, life of the party type, but also, like, Scorpio is, like, very like that too, kind of, at least I am. And she's like, it's not going to work. Let me tell you, it didn't work for other reasons, but I don't think, like, the astrology signs had anything to do with it.
Right. We want to blame it on the astrology signs instead of our own real problems.
Oh, no, I can tell you exactly why it didn't work out, but, like, it wasn't astrology.
Right.
But it's fine. It's a fun thing to know. Or it's, like, fun to go into a date and be like, oh, my God, I'm super compatible with this guy, and then he goes to me the next day.
Yeah.
So, like, you know.
Listen, whatever gets me to that second date, I'll be whatever sign you want. I don't, that's...
I once went on a date with a guy who brought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, he brought it up because I think we went out, it was around my birthday, so I mentioned that it had been my birthday, and he's like, oh my gosh, you're a Scorpio. He's like, I love Scorpios.
Wow.
It didn't work out.
Smooth, though. I like that.
Yeah, he was so smooth, except for until he wasn't.
Right.
So, but it's fine.
Good
It's
start. Do your homework. Get to know a girl's sign before you meet her. Be like,
Yeah.
oh my God, I love, and then you just insert the name of the sign.
But not in a creepy way.
Right. You don't want to be like, I've been stalking out this exact sign for a while, and I want the hair of this sign. And
Like, I was the one who mentioned that it had been my birthday, like, that week, and he's like, oh my gosh, it's November. We're in Scorpio season.
Tis the season.
Yeah. Wait, I think we digressed a lot.
A little bit. This
little
is
bit,
brought to you
okay.
by, do you have can we get some astrological people to sponsor you? Star
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah, any astrological association that wants to sponsor me, I'm down.
Great.
Technically, there is Jewish astrology.
In the Gemara, there's
there's
astrology.
astrology, and it
There's
goes
also
by-
demons and everything else, so it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know really what I'm supposed to
I
believe
think
here.
it'd be interesting to learn the astrology of the Jewish months. I don't know what my sign
Right.
is in
Like,
the Jewish
who's
month.
the second Adar? What's that
Oh,
sign
Adar.
looking
Yeah,
like, you
what
know?
is Adar 2?
Yeah.
What sign is Adar 2?
It's rare. It's a rare one, I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, is it even a sign?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm a total Nissan Rising. Nissan Rising sounds like a car, doesn't it? The all-new Nissan Rising. Great gas mileage. And...
I'm a Cheshvan. I don't know what that would be.
Oh, yeah, you're total Cheshvan.
Mar
You're a
Cheshvan.
total Cheshi. Yeah,
I'm a
you're
Mar
big
Cheshvan.
Mar Cheshvan vibes.
Big Mar Cheshvan. Honestly, Mar Cheshvan and Scorpio like kind of go together, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But and for those of you who don't know what Mar Cheshvan is, people call it Mar Cheshvan. Mar means like bitter. It's just because there's no holidays or anything in the month of Cheshvan.
To me, that's the best. That's the best month.
But honestly, the 19th of Cheshvan is the biggest holiday of all.
Right.
Because that's the day that the best person in the entire world was born.
Right. Should be a national holiday.
It basically is. Even though I forget it most years.
I don't even know my Hebrew birthday.
You should look that up.
I'll get around to it.
That's the best. And then you text all your friends. You're like, it's my Hebrew birthday today. Do you want a bracha?
Right. You get to throw out some blessings.
Yeah, you get to throw out brachas. I love when I can give people brachas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm just waiting for that wedding day. Oh my God, I'm going to have to think of so many brachas for all my friends.
Soon by you. May that be the worst problem.
Amen. Soon by you too.
I mean, just gotta...
You know, at weddings, I also ask for a bracha from the groom if I'm like close enough to him. Yeah, if I don't know him at all, like I'm not going to. But a lot of my friends who have gotten married, like their husbands have made an effort to, they like just know that I'm going to be their third wheel forever. So they've made an effort to be my friend. So I usually ask them for a bracha as well because they like know me. Or like if I'm friends with the groom, I definitely ask my brother for a bracha at his wedding.
I get shameless. I'll ask anyone for a bracha. It doesn't... There's no qualification. Just throw me a blessing. I'll take all the parnasa I could get.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Just give me a bracha.
Give me a bracha, bro.
As long I recently got a kala bracha at a wedding for a lot of podcast listeners. So I'm digging that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, wait. So we got your age.
Yeah, we got my age. We got my age, and we're
Your
30
age.
minutes in. This perfect.
Location.
Right. I'm a New Yorker.
Okay. No.
Relationship.
Relationship.
Religionship.
Relationship.
I'm in a committed
status.
relationship with Hashem.
Yeah.
No, I'm in a relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm dating a lovely girl who lives in England at the moment.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's cool in the sense that she's got an English accent. It's not cool in the sense that she can't legally live here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not something I thought I'd have to think about, but it's like remote dating, you know?
Yeah, how did you end up dating a girl in England?
So we actually met online,
Okay.
but like on a line to a Chabad event, not like online.
Oh, like in a line.
Right.
Okay.
But I feel like it sounded weird if I said we met in line.
In line instead of online.
Yeah, online sounds more. It's a meet cute. Very rare that you have a Jewish meet cute these days. Isn't that a shame?
Yeah, it is a shame.
I don't count Shabbos meals as a meet cute, by the way.
Really?
So that nixes 99% of ways you can meet Jewish people.
I think a Shabbos meal meet could be a meet cute depending on the circumstances of the meet. Like, okay, my brother and sister-in-law met at a Shabbat meal.
Of course.
But I consider theirs a meet cute because my brother was teaching at the time on like, he had like an off semester between when he was like applying for jobs or something. I don't even remember. And so he was like teaching at a Jewish school in a neighborhood that I used to live in, which is like classic Jewish school, just hiring any like college graduate.
You need no qualifications.
No qualifications.
You ever think about your Hebrew teachers growing? It was just like, which person can yell at you the most in Hebrew?
Yeah.
You're hired.
Who did they choose who just happens to be Israeli? Like, being
Just
Israeli
whoever
was
had a
the
mental
qualification.
illness. That's who they chose. Whoever was the most mentally unstable person. They're like, I think you'd be perfect for this group of 10-year-olds. Just throw a chair at them. That's how they learn Hebrew.
I mean, he's not wrong. I don't know Hebrew, though. But,
Right.
like, there were plenty of chairs thrown.
Right.
Not
Yeah, I learned how to dodge a chair, but I can't even say chair. That's an issue.
Kisei,
There you go.
I think. Yeah. But yeah, so, like, he was teaching at a school, and one of the mothers of his students invited him over for a Shabbat meal, and my sister-in-law was there because that was her cousin.
That's a meet cute.
That's a meet cute.
Right. That's like lightning striking in a bottle, rare. But if you're just going to the same schlubby Upper West Side, it's like, fine, I'll date that girl. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
It's
if
like
it's
you're just exhausted.
I feel like if it's a fun way that you ended up at the meal,
Right.
like, oh, my Shabbat plans got canceled and I met this random person at shul who took me in and it's like, come to me for Shabbat lunch, and then there was my husband.
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, that would never happen to me because if I don't have lunch plans, I'm probably just going to go to sleep.
Right.
But, like, maybe one day I'll just get taken in.
Maybe one day you'll be like, I'm going to skip my nap, and then you'll go to the meal, and your bashert will be there, and that'll be the meet cute.
Yeah, maybe.
You're going to have to skip some naps, though. It's
Yeah,
like,
I don't
gotta weigh the pros and cons.
I don't normally nap. By nap, I should just say, like, I just go to Chabad and hang out at Kiddush.
Right. That's a nap.
And then I come home and nap.
Right.
But that's, like, after everyone's, like, gone. I mean, this is rare. This is only, like, on the times that, like, I don't have lunch plans and I don't feel like making them. You know, some weeks you have those.
Thank God for Chabad and all these other... You could just game the whole system. You don't have to pay for a meal. You go to enough
not at all.
Chabad dinners and lunch and learns, and like the amount of free food New York Jewish programs that there are.
Yeah.
You just get an Excel spreadsheet and you could just hack it and you'll never have to pay for food.
Although I feel like I have to pay for every single event that I go to.
It's true. They be charging up the wazoo. What is that?
Yeah,
Like $80 for a singles mix-in match with a Hall of Famer Shadchan or something. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, I'm paying $80, but I definitely am not meeting my husband.
Right, and it's not that I could have gotten that all-you-could-eat sushi for less than 80, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's like,
You always
why
do sushi at these events. You realize that? It's low cost.
Really?
Sushi's always the big sell.
Is sushi a low cost, though? I feel like it doesn't cost that much to make,
Right.
but I feel like all these kosher restaurants charge a lot for it.
Right. There's a kosher tax on everything.
Yeah.
And it really annoys me.
Yeah, no, so at my job, I could order dinner after 5, like corporate America perks, everybody. So this week, I was away all weekend. I got back late. I like didn't have time for grocery shopping, meal prep, anything. So I'm like, I'm going to utilize my free dinner. So what delivers in my area are a lot of places that like I used to go to when I was in school here because I went to school in the city. And so I saw this one restaurant. I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I've been there since I was in school because the school was right across the street. My old dorm was right across the street. We used to go at like 2 o'clock in the morning for milkshakes there. Only because we could pay on the calf card. And I was like, okay, I'll order from here. Literally pasta that I could make myself was $30. Just for, like, that was without tax, tip, delivery, everything. Was $30. And I get it. And I'm like, okay, it tastes like nostalgia. And I'm happy I didn't pay for this. But, like, who's going to pay for, like, why are people paying for this? And it's the kosher tax.
It's a kosher tax. So
Tax.
we could get into Shemayim.
Yeah.
Is it worth all that money? It's rough.
I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Wait, okay. So relationship status, check.
Check.
And religious denomination.
What? How many? I'm curious on your thoughts. Let me hear all the religious denominations. I feel like it changes every year. Give me some. What do we got?
Reform, conservative, traditional, modern Orthodox, yeshivish, Hasidish, Chabad / Lubavitch, unaffiliated, not Jewish, just Jewish.
Not Jewish is a denomination. Can I do that? Wait, this was an option? I would have been out right at the beginning.
Well, if you aren't Jewish.
Right.
I haven't had anyone who isn't Jewish on my podcast yet.
Right.
Maybe one day.
Yeah, you should get a diversity, get a token diverse goy on the podcast.
Even though it's a Jewish dating podcast.
Right, so it'd be a little confusing.
Well, my doorman said he would come on.
There's a lot of people on J-Swipe that they do willing to convert, and that boggles my mind. I don't think they realize
What that means.
Yeah.
You know, okay, so when I was younger and I was just like living my life, not actually because I didn't really date non-Jews, but I just
Have you ever dated a non-Jew?
I went on one date with one non-Jew, and that was just
on
like
purpose?
Yeah, but it was a wild. It's not even that wild of a story. It was just like I met him on J-Swipe. He didn't say that he wasn't Jewish on J-Swipe.
So the intention, you didn't know going in that he wasn't Jewish.
No, I did.
You could tell by how he looked.
His ethnicity told it all.
Ooh, that'll get you canceled, my friend.
I mean, no, I'm not opposed to dating people of other ethnicities. It's just, if they're Jewish, like, if I met a guy who was the same ethnicity as this guy and he was Jewish, I'm totally down. Like, that's fine.
Right.
It was the fact that he wasn't Jewish. Also, like, this is when I worked in public accounting and I was in busy season. So I wasn't even, like, trying to go on dates. I was just playing a little swipey game that turns into boys, like, asking you for drinks. And I'm like, oh, wait, now I have to, like, meet up with them.
Man, it's people like you that just make me so angry.
This was years ago.
Just a little swipey game to play with all the nice Jewish boys' hearts. Let me just swipe right on you, get your hopes up, so you can build a story about us getting married and then never respond to you again.
No, okay. Listen, I was young. I think I was like 24, maybe 23. Okay. I don't even know. This was a long time ago.
Right.
And I was only playing the little swipey game because I was bored with my life because all I did was work.
Of course.
Because I was in busy season.
So why not just break a couple hearts?
Yeah, so wait, but it was towards the end of busy season.
Okay.
So then
I don't think the boys, by the way, whose hearts you broke knew whether it was busy or not busy season.
Oh, no. They asked me. They're like, oh, that's like one of the first questions. It's like, so what do you do? And it's like, I'm an accountant. Oh, it must be busy now because it's like March.
Right.
It's like, yeah, I am pretty busy. Like I work a lot of hours a week. But yeah, so then it got to be like after busy season or the end of busy season. He's like, now that busy season's over, do you want to go out for a drink? And I'm like, well, here's the thing. You're not Jewish.
Oh.
And I was like, I just don't think this is a good idea. Which was such a shame because he was so good.
Yeah, goys usually are.
Yeah, they really are.
Yeah, way nicer than us.
Yeah, he made conversation. He
looked you in the eyes?
Well, we were just like texting.
So you never did go on a date with this guy?
Not there yet. So like he was good about like messaging me. He asked me questions. He was engaging in conversation. All these Jewish boys are just like not. So I was like, oh darn. He had a good job. Yeah, he was a finance bro, and I'm like, oh my god. Like he's a good conversationalist. He has a good job. He's age appropriate. He just isn't Jewish.
Right.
So yeah, so then I told him that I can't go out with him, and That was that. That was in
How many
April.
times do you think him on J-Swipe got, sorry, I can't go out with you, you're not Jewish? Do you think he took a hint, like, maybe I'm on the wrong app?
Yeah, like, I asked him, I'm like, why are you on J-Swipe? And he's like, well, all my friends are Jewish, so, like, I love the Jewish culture. And I'm like...
Oh, that's nice.
I'm like, that's really nice, but, like, also, like, Jews only want to marry Jews.
Yeah, you're like, well, you're about to hate us after your experience on J-Swipe.
Yeah, so... But all of my friends, afterwards, they're like, oh, my God, he was your soulmate. Like, you just missed out on the one.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, shoot, what if I did? So then fast forward to like August. This was in April. Fast forward to August. One of my friends, we're hanging out. She just like did something really cool and she's like, okay, we're going to find him. Cause she was like still talking about it. She's like, I think he was the one for you. We're going to find him. I gave her 5 seconds on Facebook. She found him. All I had was his first name, which wasn't a Jewish name, and where he was from. That's all I knew. Everything. And she found him in like a second. So she friended him. This is at like 3 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday night. So then we wake up the next morning on Sunday. I had a accepted friend request and a message. And we talked the whole day. We talked the whole week. And then he's like, no, after talking for the whole day, he's like, okay, well, you finally get a drink with me. And I'm like, okay. But then he suggests a wine bar. And I'm like, ooh. I can't drink wine.
Right.
Luckily for me, I happened to be on like a weird diet at that point in my life, and I'm like, oh, I don't eat sugar, and wine has a lot of sugar. Can we go somewhere
You didn't
else?
want to tell him that you just kept kosher.
Yeah, and like wine is a big no-no in kosher.
Right, but I'm saying you didn't want to tell him the reason why he can't is because
No,
the
because
wine's
I
not
broke
kosher.
up with him before. And by broke up with him, I mean I told him we couldn't go out before because of the Jewish thing. So I like didn't want to bring that up again because I wanted to meet him to make sure
Right.
he
You
wasn't
wanted to be
the
like,
one.
I'm over the Jewish thing.
Yeah,
you.
no, it wasn't that. I just like needed to get to the drinks so I could be like, is he my soulmate? And do I need to snip him and dip him? So
What's the dipping part?
snip him and dip him.
Yeah.
Snip,
Snip, I got the snip.
dip, mikvah.
Oh.
Like convert them.
I was thinking of a baptism, and I'm like, you're going backwards again. That makes more
No, snip him and dip him.
Right.
And that's like was my motto of that whole time period. It's like I'll just snip him and dip him.
Right.
Which no, that's not my motto anymore. But yeah, so we go on this. I just needed to get there so I could like see if he was the one or not. So we get there, we go to drinks. I literally made my coworker walk me there. I'm like, oh my God, wait. It like hit me after a second. I'm like, wait, I've only gone out with Jews. I don't know how real dating works. Is he gonna try to take me home? Which Jewish guys do too. Is he gonna like try to do this? What if he tries to make a move? Like, I wanted to meet him. I don't want to like do anything with him. Like, he's not Jewish. Like, I was just going to confirm that he was not my soulmate. And my coworker, who isn't Jewish, was like laughing at me the whole time. So she took me to pregame the date. So I go to the date already kind of tipsy, and then I have like 2 or 3 drinks with him. He definitely tried to make a move, and I definitely ran away. Let's just say he wasn't the one. But yeah, so that's my story. And then I was the asshole who had to break up with him and be like, yeah, sorry, this just isn't going to work. But at least this time when I told him it wasn't going to work is because I wasn't into him. And because he wasn't Jewish.
Right.
Not just because he wasn't Jewish.
Wow.
Yeah.
What a mess.
Yeah. And this is why we don't go out with non-Jews.
This is why non-Jews don't go out with us. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I mean, they shouldn't. Yeah.
Man.
Okay, but
Jewish
like...
girl coming in 2 drinks deep. No intentions. It's rough. You gotta put yourself in his shoes there.
I mean, he was just lucky to be graced with my presence.
Right. Okay.
Any guy who goes on a date with me is just lucky to be graced with my presence.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. You laugh, but like it's true. I carry the date.
Right.
Like probably every single date I've been on, unless I just like am done and I give up.
Yeah.
I carry it.
I can tell.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Why am I talking about my dating stories? I want to hear your
You're carrying
stories.
the podcast.
I'm carrying the podcast, but I want to hear your stories. I want to hear your. Do you have some dating stories to tell me?
Dating is always Jewish dating's weird because the intentions are so different.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're going into a date now and you're not doing one night stands, things like that. Although there is that whole weird subculture of like Jewish one night stands, which I think no one in the modern Orthodox community talks about, but there's like this whole
But it happens.
everyone's like an Eskimo brother around here. It's the weirdest thing. Like, you're 1 degree of separation from someone that kissed someone. You know what I mean? It's like camp. It's like being Jewish in your 20s is still summer camp. Nothing, it's like being in high school again. It's like, did you hear that Rifki and Shlomi did this and Shlomi knew that and whatever? So Jewish dating's always, it comes with a lot of intentionality, you know? Like what people are thinking, what they are going to actually say. And there's also like, you gotta embellish a little bit. You gotta prop yourself up. Like, I don't know one J-Swipe profile that says the actual height. The correct height. It doesn't exist.
Mine does.
Right, for guys though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're all lying on there.
I don't know why Jewish guys even bother lying about their height, because like if a girl is dating Jewish guys, she knows they're going to be not as
but
tall.
she wants to think that they're going to be taller than the average.
Okay, so like if I say that a guy is 6 foot on J-Swipe, I'm not going to believe it.
Yeah. Exactly. You just got to, it comes with certain...
You might as well just tell me the truth.
Right.
I'm also 5'2", so like I don't really care how tall a guy is.
Right.
Unless he's taller than me. I mean, unless he's shorter than I am.
Yeah, then that's
probably a problem.
Right. So I don't know how many I haven't gone on many dates. Like how I meet people is always like we just start hanging out. I think labeling the date is always a little bit risky. Because once you label it as a date, it just takes on this new kind of more serious tone. I like to just go places and see if things develop. Because a date is it's a lot of pressure nowadays. A lot of pressure. And there's a lot of options. I think people are kind of getting overwhelmed with just the sheer amount of options. Like, I have a friend who goes on 5 dates a week.
Oh, wow.
You know?
It must be nice to be a guy.
Right. Yeah, I'm sure guys could get on dates easier than girls. That's sarcastic.
I mean, like, if I wanted to go
I'm sure you have thousands of eligible bachelors in your DMs.
I mean, if I wanted to date non-religious or non-Jews, then yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's so hard dating as like a modern...
Oh,
it's such a specific criteria.
If I was open to dating non-Jews, I would be snatched up.
Right.
Do you know how many non-Jewish guys like me on these dating apps?
I do. You just told me about one of them.
Yeah, well, that was on J-Swipe.
Right. Yeah,
like,
if you could get non-Jewish guys on J-Swipe, I think you're doing pretty well for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, this was years ago. But, like, no, I'm sure it's easier for a guy to, like, get a date, though.
I would heavily disagree. Have you ever... I've looked at my friends that are girls, like, inboxes or whatever, versus the guy friends. These girls have thousands of matches. It's insane.
I have nothing right now.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I don't think. I also don't remember the last time I've been on, but, like, whatever.
Right.
No, I think I ran out of guys on every platform.
Yeah, there's something intimidating about Jewish dating sites where it's just like, there are no more people left in your area. And you're like, okay, I guess I'll make Aliyah. Like, what is...
Yeah, it's like I'm in New York City and I have no Jews left.
Yeah, let me go out to Delaware. That'll give me better chances.
I was actually in Kansas City this past weekend and I'm like, let's just like mess around
yeah, that's always fun.
And see like if there's any like Jewish guys that even widen my area. I think I have it on 50 miles here. Right. I widened it. This was only on J-Swipe though. I widened it to 100 miles. Kansas City. In the middle of Kansas City, there was nobody. Absolutely zero guys in Kansas City who fit my, like, criterias.
Yeah. What if you saw someone that said, Orthodox, not kosher? You ever see that?
No, because I have it filtered on kosher.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah, I don't get that. There's
some weird codes that I've realized. Like, if you're Orthodox, not kosher, that means you're willing to hook up on the first date. That's what I've realized.
Oh.
There's coding in it.
Oh, I thought so what I like to call the fashivish guys are the ones who are, like, just Jewish, but, like, it's clear that they, like, live in Brooklyn or Muncie.
Right.
Like, they label themselves as just Jewish.
Oh, but they're obviously, yeah.
But they're literally, like...
It's like, Menachem Mendel's probably not just Jewish.
Yeah. Like, he's wearing a yarmulke in all of his pictures. Like, You're not just... And you say you're kosher. And it says you live in Muncie.
Yeah.
That means you're fashivish.
Yeah. Those fashivish boys, they like to... It's because they want to keep the playing field open, you know?
Yeah, no.
They want to find their wife, but they also want to find someone for the night.
Yeah, but, like, they're going to find their wife from, like, a shadchan. They're using this app to just, like, hook up.
It's so funny to me that people use J-Swipe as a hookup app. That's the worst possible app to use as a hookup app.
I know, like, I don't get it.
Right. You're not going far with Chaya Mushka. You're better off with, like, Crystal on Tinder, you know?
Yeah. it always amazes me, these guys. And also, all of my friends get the same guys who want to hook up with them. Like,
Right.
it's the same guy. Like, I told this story on a previous episode, but this one guy, I was like talking to him, and then he like asked, oh, also, one of the things that you know if they just want to hook up, if they ask you if you're Shomer Nagia.
Yeah.
Anyone who asks you if you're Shomer Nagia on J-Swipe before you've met in person or before you've had substantial amount of conversation regarding anything relatively close to the realm of Shomer Nagia, they just want to hook up with you.
Is that not a filter on J-Swipe? Shomer
Nagia?
That should be.
That should be.
Is that
honestly.
not?
No, I don't think so.
I thought it was.
Oh, maybe I got to update my app.
Right.
That would be an interesting filter to put.
Yeah, let's throw the updates on.
Yeah, where are the J-Swipe people at? Like, we got some
I
ideas
know the
for you.
J-Swipe guy.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's a follower of the old page.
Does he want to come on the podcast?
I don't know.
We'll
I
talk
feel like
offline.
we've been trash talking it a little bit.
We'll talk.
What other
offline.
options are there?
Hinge.
Corona.
Oh yeah, Corona Crush.
Gosh, what a great option that might
Everyone, go join Corona Crush.
be. Layup.
Yeah, everyone, go join Corona Crush. So, but like, I don't know. It is weird that J-Swipe has now turned into a hookup app. It used to, back in the day, it used to be better. Like, people actually went on dates.
Oh yeah.
People got married from J-Swipe.
Everyone's meeting. I think Hinge is a new big one now.
Yeah, I think even Hinge is dying though.
I just want people to meet in person. I don't know. I have a weird prejudice against these apps. I think they're no bueno.
Yeah, I don't
want
know.
meet cutes. I want someone to. When's the last time someone was just on a bus and they saw someone they liked? Now it's called sexual assault. You know, you can't. You can't go up to a girl on a bus in like the 50s or whatever. You went to a girl on a bus and you said, "Hey, you want to go for a dance?" And they're like, "Yes" or "No." Now you do it and they pepper spray you in the eyes.
Yeah.
It's a new world. It's
It is
terrifying.
a new world. Actually, I saw a cute guy on the train once. I think I texted my friends. I was like, oh my God, there's a cute guy on the train. I wonder if he's coming to... I was coming home from work. I'm like, I bet he like lives in our neighborhood. And lo and behold... Because like...
And then you followed him home and you're like, he does.
So I couldn't tell if he was wearing a yarmulke or not because it was like winter. And he was wearing
that's the worst.
He was wearing like a winter hat.
Yeah.
But I was like, you could just tell by the look of someone. I'm like, he's Jewish.
You have a
Like,
Judar.
1,000% he's Jewish.
Yeah.
He's on my train. I bet we got on at the same stop too. We might have transferred together also. And I was like, I bet he's gonna get off at my stop. And if he gets off at my stop, the chances are that he lives in my neighborhood and is part of like the Jewish community of my neighborhood is very high.
Right.
So he did get off, and I did follow him, but only until I had to turn to go to my apartment.
You didn't want to do the full 9 yards.
No, I was not going to stalk him. But then I was like, you know what? If it's meant to be, I'll see him again.
If it's meant to be, you should have just said, hey, and walked over.
But like, we were commuting home from work. He had headphones in, I had headphones in.
These are the meet cutes, Rach. If it doesn't have... Listen, if I didn't talk to my current girlfriend, if I didn't walk past her on the line and then cut in the line and then cut in directly just to speak to her... Here's the thing. Listen, Jewish followers, all right? You got to actually... Don't be creepy about it, but start going out of your way. If you see someone you like, just talk to them. Engage them in a conversation. People are always waiting on an opportunity. You got to... Carpe diem. You got to seize the moment.
Yeah, but I feel like the crowded subway wasn't the moment.
Anywhere's the moment.
Rush hour
The
traffic.
context doesn't matter.
I don't know. Okay, guy from the subway. Maybe I'll see you again.
Maybe
he's listening
Hey,
to
guy
this
from the subway,
podcast.
if you're listening, next time Rach sees you, she's going to talk to you.
Okay, I probably won't see you again because I moved offices.
Right.
And I switched my commute.
Right.
I mean, it's the same commute. It's just different
If
stuff.
Hashem wants it, it'll
If
happen.
Hashem wants. Okay. Let's take a break quickly to hear a word from our sponsors. And when
would
we come
love
back,
to.
you'll hear more of our philosophies and stories. We'll be right back.
This is-
Sticky Situations is sponsored by Corona Crush. Are you tired of swiping on dating apps? Tired of guessing whether the cute guy or girl you keep seeing around is Jewish and or single? Then you need to run, not walk, to join Corona Crush. Corona Crush is a Jewish organization working to create Jewish couples always. Corona Crush has over 30 confirmed engagements, over 22,000 members from all over the world, and has set up over 50,000 speed dates. Join the Corona Crush Facebook group and post yourself or have a friend post you and see who reaches out. Fill out the survey to sign up for virtual speed dating events happening every other week. Corona Crush is 100% free and 100% Jewish. Worst case, you end up with some stories of your own. Best case, you find the love of your life. Try it out today. Here on Sticky Situations, we tend to focus on bad dating stories, but sometimes dates do go well and lead to proposals and weddings. Who would have thought? And what do all of those require, you might be asking? Well, the answer is flowers. Who doesn't want flowers from someone they've been seeing? Don't forget, flower petals and bouquets needed for proposals. And that's even before all the flowers that go into weddings. Sticky Situations is sponsored by Primrose Flower Shop. In my opinion, Primrose is the coolest flower shop around and has the best customer service to fulfill all of your floral needs. Primrose offers a range of services from your basic bouquets to subscription services where you can get flowers delivered once a week. They deliver all over the tri-state area, including Manhattan. Primrose does weddings, bar and bat mitzvahs, and other simchas. I've personally been to a wedding where Primrose did the flowers, and the work they did was beyond gorgeous. Primrose additionally offers in-store proposals, including a romantic setup with candles and music. Primrose is located at 2922 Avenue M in Brooklyn, and the phone number is 929-376-9815. You can also follow Primrose on Instagram at PrimroseNY. So, if you can't get someone out of your head, buy them some flowers from Primrose. They'll either love it or they'll find you really creepy. But regardless, the flowers will be out of this world.
And we're back.
And we're back to the number one dating podcast. Number one, Jewish, probably more modern Orthodox, probably more New York, 21st century dating podcast on Spotify in the world. Would you say that? Would you say that this is probably up there with the top modern Orthodox dating podcast, if not the top modern Orthodox dating podcast?
I mean, like, in my world, it's the number one.
It's the number one.
Of everything.
Wow. And we're back with the number one modern Orthodox dating podcast, New York modern Orthodox dating podcast. It could be found on Spotify, Apple Play, Safaria. Did you get on Safaria yet with this stuff?
No, how do I get on Safari?
I don't know. Contact Mashiach. I have no idea.
Do you have his number?
Mashiach's number? Yeah, it's 613, baby. Keep them all. We'll get them back. Hey, I'm Mikey Greenblatt. Listen, I've been single for long stretches of time, and here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Love comes when you're least expecting it. You can't force it.
I hate when people say that.
Right. Love comes when you're least expecting it. You can't force it. All these shadchanim, they're doing the devil's work, I tell you. Trying to force it up. I have some Chabad cousins. We're pretty diverse, and they go on 3 dates and then that's it. And I like that. I prefer that because I think there's such a paradox of choice where you have too many options. I like the idea of just like my grandparents met because they were first cousins. Is that the best way to meet? Probably not. But they met at like Pesach Seder when they were 2 years old and they never looked back. Genetically, did that mess us up a little bit? Yeah, sure, but they were happy. They didn't have any other choice. They're just like, you're here, I'm here, let's make it work. Nowadays, problem is there's too many Jews. Don't edit. If you edited that, that's going to sound bad. Too many Jews means too many choices. So you have all these Jewish girls and all these Jewish boys looking for the perfect person. And by the way, perfect people don't exist. Love is a choice. It's a skill that you develop. You're not going to, I don't believe in this like love at first sight. You have to work for it, you know? Bekitzer, what we need to do is we need to just go on 4 dates and get married to everyone. And it'll solve the shidduch crisis.
Yeah, I think we should just go back to arranged marriages.
I think we need to go back to arranged marriages. Just set me up with that girl that I had a crush on in high school who didn't love me back, and I think it would all work out. It's a very simple solution. So, Sarah, if you're listening to this, I need you back.
Just like buy a ring and go to her door.
Right. I tried that, and then her husband answered the door, and I'm like, oh.
That's awkward.
Yeah, I'm like, do you have a sister? Yeah, listen, dating's Dating's tough, but I think everyone just puts so much pressure on it. There's such a like culture around it, and you just gotta the what I think women find most attractive, and I could say this because I'm a male. What I think women find most attractive is just a guy who's not trying too hard, a guy who's laid back, who's chilling, who's a stand-up comedian who earns less than $20,000 a year, who's 5'11", tall, dark, and handsome, could pass as Sephardic or Ashkenazi. That's what a girl's looking for.
Maybe some girls, yeah.
Right.
This girl, probably not.
Yeah, what's up? Why do you guys need guys that make so much money? Is it yeshiva tuition?
Yeah. Do you know how much it costs to raise a family in the modern Orthodox world?
Happiness? Kindness?
No, like, I feel like to live comfortably, like, I could put numbers on. I'm an accountant, so, like, I could put numbers on it, and I have put numbers on it. Like, they're estimates, but, like, they're educated estimates. And if I make X amount, that's not going to cover the whole amount, so I need a guy who also makes X amount. And the closer we are to the higher numbers, the more comfortably we can live.
Where is that on your priority list?
Money, I think, is right now my number one priority.
Right.
Because, like, oh, okay, that's a lie.
So if I'm a shadchan and you hand me your resume, it won't say I'm looking for someone who's kind, funny, and personable. It'd be like I'm looking for someone who's rich, who's got that dough.
No,
that
so
kesef.
Personality and good person is my number one.
Right.
Number two is going to be money.
So you meet a really nice guy, but he's an art teacher at B'nai Birth Yavne Salman Schechter School of Judaism, and he makes $5 a year after tax.
First of all,
but he's a great guy.
You don't get taxed on $5 a year. You have to make at least like $8,000 to even like have to file a tax return. I appreciate you fact checking that very sarcastic comment.
Only a CPA would fact check when I say I don't. Rachel, for clarification, I don't think he's actually making $5 a year, but I appreciate for all the CPAs angrily listening saying you can't get taxed. By the way, I got taxed on I made like $18,000, and I got taxed on like $3.5 of the $18,000.
You should get most of it back.
I haven't gotten any of it back.
Well, you have to file your tax return.
I did. I got no refund. I had to pay $3,500 in taxes.
Oh, so I don't know. I'm not a tax accountant. I still have to do my taxes. I'll probably owe them money too. The government.
Governments.
But I don't know. It depends. I'll know if he's the right guy if I know, but if I see it on paper, I'll probably say no. Actually, that's a lie. I'll probably say yes to a date, but I'll have it in the back of my mind that he makes no money. So if he doesn't,
it's rough. Listen, as someone who currently makes no money, that's it's hard for me to hear. But
if he doesn't charm me,
right,
then
you gotta have a strong charm.
Yeah.
You gotta be really charming if you're not making a lot of money, or you don't have to be charming at all if you're making a lot of money. It's amazing the power that wealth has on this stupid capitalistic bourgeoisie Western society.
I don't think I would want to be with a guy who makes a ton of money and is just disgusting.
Right.
Like a disgusting.
But what if he makes a ton of money?
Okay.
Where's the disgusting ton of money line that you draw?
I can be bought. Right. I can be bought.
I'm glad you say that one more time.
I can be bought.
You say it proudly.
I can be bought.
Okay, amazing.
I don't know. People.
I think it was important for your listeners to hear that.
People ask me questions like, "Would you do this?" Because I'll say, "Oh yeah, I will never do that," and they're like, "Is it really never?" It's like, I have a price.
Right. Your love has a price.
I can be bought. Well, it's mostly I tell. You guys know I'm from Ohio, so people ask me, they're like, "Oh, do you want to move back?" And I'm like, literally, never, ever, ever. I'd rather die, but then I have to put the caveat, but I have a price. If I was married to someone who made an obscene amount of money,
right,
but we had to live there, okay, fine.
Right. It's like Ivanka Trump. She married Donald Trump. She probably wasn't looking for it. Ivanka's her daughter, Melania, whatever.
Melania.
You didn't, Melania. All right, Ivanka married who? Jared?
Jared Kushner.
Okay, same difference. Both analogies apply in this situation then. Ivanka Kushner, Melania Trump. That's they found themselves a rich man.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that, but also, I guess you're right. There's more to it. I'd rather find love than money.
Say that again into the microphone so that...
I'd rather find love than money.
5 minutes ago, ladies and gentlemen, she did say that she could be bought, but now...
I can be bought.
Right.
at a really, really high price, but I don't think these Jewish boys are making that much. Maybe some of them, but...
You don't think these Jewish boys are making a lot of money?
Some.
Okay, let me tell you. I'm a comedian.
Yes.
I work exclusively with goys or Jews that are not affiliated. Religion is dead. There are no religious comedians. It's not a thing. Maybe a sprinkle, whatever. So these people, money's not high on the priority list. Very, very different. I'll tell you, as someone who lives in a place surrounded by Jews and works in a place surrounded by non-Jews or people not affiliated with Judaism, Jews make so much money. The ones that you're looking at, I wouldn't put that past them. Insane amount. The competitions, these people, the goys that I work with, they're waiters. You wouldn't even think of meeting in about it. I can't name you one waiter. Do you know one person that's
definitely
around
guys
your
who have
age?
liked me on J-Swipe or Hinge.
Right.
The guys who like me don't have good jobs.
Right.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like you're
What
saying,
about
like,
a strong, independent woman carrying the torch?
So here's my
Not
thing.
relying on a big old man.
So here's my thing. If I'm going to do that, I'd rather just be alone.
Oh, that's so sad.
I don't want to resent some man. Like, I work very hard.
Right.
I work a lot of hours. I work, like, depending on the time of the year, I work a soul-crushing amount of hours. And, like, for something that, like, I'm not saving lives. I don't, like, hate my job.
You're doing
like,
good work, Rachel.
Like, I tolerate my job. My job is fine. But it's not like, oh my God, I'm so fulfilled with my life. I'm saving lives. I'm working 1,000,000 hours. It's like, no. I'm working a lot of hours so I can afford to live the life I want to live. And if I'm married to some guy who's not pulling his weight, I'm going to resent him. And I'd rather just be alone than, like, live with someone I resent. You know?
Right. No, for sure. For sure.
And I've definitely talked about this before. But, like, that just means, like, I don't want to marry a bum.
Right.
Like, I can't swing marrying a waiter.
Right.
Also, it's like, why are you a waiter? Like, didn't you get a college education? Like, do you not have Jewish parents who made you go to college?
Right.
Like, go get a real job. Go to grad school. Go to law school.
There are people listening to your podcast just breaking down and crying right now.
Listen, I think if you're unhappy with the amount of money that you make, just change your career.
Right.
Like, if I was actually really unhappy with the amount of money I was making, I would go to law school.
Right.
And still have a soul-crushing job, but make more money.
Right.
It's possible. It's not that hard to
Right.
find something else to do. And I'm not saying, like, oh my God, it's not that hard to go to law school. No, I'm saying it's not that hard to, like, go do, like, something else. Oh, yeah. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, thank you so much. What are my thoughts on you going to law school? I think you should do it. I think that's
No. Like, if people are unhappy, like, I get it. Like, you're a comedian, and I'm assuming you find a lot of joy and fulfillment from that.
I do, yeah.
But if one day you woke up and you're like, I don't love this and I want more money,
That would be the best day of my life.
I'm sure you'll go and be like, oh yeah, I have a college degree. I might even have a master's degree. Let me go do something with it.
Right. I don't know. I've been looking for jobs. If you know of anyone, I'm
What's your
open to
field?
hire. Anything. I could sell you anything. I could sell you a pen. I could sell you this straw right here. I'm good with sales. I'm good with interpersonal communications and relationships. I could do pretty much most things. I was a personal trainer.
Did you go to college?
I did go to college.
What is your degree in?
Psychology.
Okay, so you could literally do anything.
Right.
I don't know. If I'll tell you my company afterwards, if you see a job opening there, I'm happy to pass your resume through.
All right.
I work at a big company, so always happy to do that.
Heck yeah. Amazing.
You might hate it, and
Right.
it might crush your soul,
Right.
but
See, I think I would want to be with someone who feels fulfilled in what they're doing. But the money thing is definitely an issue. It's a realistic thing that you have to think about. And that could tear people apart.
I just am of the belief that you don't have to find your fulfillment through your job.
Right. That's exactly what a CPA would say.
Yeah.
Well, it's amazing how people... Like, I had an interview recently, and it was at, like, some kind of... It was a similar CPA or banking, and they're just like... we're here to change the world. And I'm like, no, you're just building portfolios for rich people. Like, I think we try to find this higher ethical purpose for all we're doing.
No, I'm not trying to find a higher ethical purpose in being a CPA. I'm just saying, like, work is one part of my life, and then there are other parts of my life.
Right. What do you find? Would that's a good first date question. What do you find most fulfilling in life?
Oh my God, I would literally walk out.
Wow.
I hate
Because they're not saying how much do you make?
No, I hate those types of questions. It's like, any guy who asks me, what are you passionate about? Like, I've had guys literally open on dating apps.
That's
like,
too vague.
Like, what are you passionate about?
Right. You need something more specific.
Like, literally The Bachelor. Like, what do you want from me?
Right.
Like,
what are you passionate about?
The Bachelor.
Okay.
And this podcast.
Okay.
But, like, not really.
Which part? Bachelor or this podcast?
Everything.
Okay. So you're just not a very passionate person.
I'm not a passionate person. No.
What's a question that someone could open with on J-Swipe that you're like, nah, I'm interested? Is it more just like, I make $400,000 a year, question mark?
No, I think someone who puts thought into their questions. And not like, oh my God, what are you passionate about? Because that's
right.
like acting like you put thought into it, but you didn't actually.
Yeah, that's like they copied and pasted it from opening dating lines online.
Yeah, it's like, I think... So I actually put a little bit of effort into my profiles, and I put things in my profile to start a conversation. So if he reads something in my profile and messages me like, oh, you like to Peloton. Who's your favorite Peloton instructor? Oh, you watched The Bachelor. Nice. What did you think of this season?
Right, so asking questions based on the profile.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like something. Or even from my pictures. Like, I have like one funny pictures of me in a hot dog costume from my friend's wedding.
Cute.
So even if a guy like makes it to that and asks like, oh, what was the hot dog picture from?
Right.
Like, just show that, like, it's not a generic, hey.
Yeah,
like,
that's tough.
Like, it's not the same message you're sending to, like, 20 other girls.
Here's the thing, though. A girl could mass message, hey, and she'll get responses 90% of the time.
Yeah.
What, do you have an opening line, or do you usually wait to get messaged?
Depends how unhinged I'm feeling.
Right.
If I'm feeling unhinged, then I'll message people. But usually I look at their profile and try to, like, say something. Or if the guy literally has nothing to work with on his profile, I'll be like, hey, how's your weekend going? Or like something like that.
Right. Yeah, that's good.
I don't like the just hey. In any context, I don't like when somebody messages
Hey's low effort.
Hey.
Right.
No, it's low effort on all ends. Like, I used to have at one of my old jobs, I had a supervisor. He always just messaged me. We would call it like, oh, me and my coworker would be like, oh, I just got hey, what's up by like so-and-so. And it's like, why are you even saying hey, what's up? Just say, hey, I need you to do this.
Right.
Like, I know.
Yeah, get the point across. Skip the formalities.
Like, I know you don't care what's up.
Right.
But even guys on dating apps is like, just put more effort in. Even if you say, hey, how is your day going? Yeah. That is much better than a hey.
Hey, right.
From my friends, I don't want a hey. It's right. Like, either say, hey, haven't talked to you in a while, just wanted to like say hi. Or even if you just say, hey, how are you doing? Like, whatever. I was thinking about one of my friends yesterday, and I just messaged her. I was like, hey, how are you doing? But, like, I didn't want anything from her. I just, like, wanted to see how she was doing. If I want something from someone, I'll just be like, sometimes I don't even say hey. It's like, can you do this? Are you free this? Do you want to come to me for a shopping? Like, that's what I message.
Nice.
Do you just message hey? I feel like you would.
I like to cut straight to the point with people. I don't really understand. I think there's an initial attraction between people, and you can only do so much talking before, right? Like especially on the apps, there's just a certain amount of talking that you want to do before bringing it to the real world. I personally find my strong suit is talking to people in the real world versus texting. I'm not a great texter. So like the faster that I could get someone to just go on the date, the better it is. Because I've been in these long strings of texts. You can only get to know someone so much online. I think people are so different. As someone who, like, I do a lot of social media, and I could tell you I've met so many people from the social media space that are like these wild, crazy people on social media, and they are nothing in real life because you could edit, you can manufacture yourself to fit whatever narrative you want. You could be the coolest person in the world, but that's not the person that you're going to be spending the rest of your life with. You're going to be spending the rest of your life with the person, right? Not the online personality. So the faster that I think people could get off of the online space and into the real world, the better it's going to be. It really gets dangerous if these long, some people, when I used to message on the apps, people would be like, oh, I'm not really ready yet to go on a date. I want to get to know you more. And I'm like, the date is to get to know me more. Not the online. We could text all you want. You're not really going to get a sense of who I am. I'm not going to get a sense of who you are.
I say that when I don't want to go out with a guy, but I just want to play the swipey swipe game.
And so why wouldn't you just say, I'm not interested?
Because I'm bored.
God, it's terrible. I mean, it's amazing to hear because I always had these theories, but to actually hear it from a live human being. I
don't do it so often, and like
it's psychopathic. It's really it's so mean.
So okay, I try not to.
I'm speaking on behalf of all men. Please stop doing this to us. I don't know what your intention is. I don't know what weird fulfillment it brings you. But if you don't like a guy, just say I'm not interested and move on and just tear the Band-Aid off. Don't slowly rip it off. It's hurting us.
So I don't do it really anymore because I just kind of quit doing any of this stuff.
Can you make a PSA now, though, to all the people that do it?
Okay, PSA to everybody. If you're not interested in someone, just tell them.
Just tell them.
Stop playing the little swipey swipe game.
No swipey swipe games.
Well, you can play the swipey swipe game, but like...
No, you can't.
Don't message. Don't take it to the messaging once you do the swipey swipe.
Right. Match with them and then ghost them. That's fine. But don't message.
That's fine. It's not really ghosting if you never talk.
No.
But I will say
that was a very deep statement.
It's not really ghosting if you never talk.
Yeah.
I will say though that sometimes like if a guy just is like, oh, let's go get coffee, I'm like kind of put off by it, or like drinks. Like if he just like if we have like two back and forths, he's like, can we go for drinks? It's like,
yeah, it's a little much.
Okay, sir. Like what are your intentions?
Right.
I actually, now that COVID has happened, I'm a fan of like a phone call. And it sounds like very frummy from. And I honestly, I told my non-Jewish coworkers this. And I was like, yeah, I won't go out in person with a guy until I talk to him on the phone or have a video call. And they're like, Rachel, that's psychotic. Like, I would rather, like, you can't catch me, like, being on the phone with a guy. I'm like, I'm trying not to get murdered.
Right.
On dates.
Right. So...
I don't know. I feel like getting off the apps, I think, is smart. I happen to be a great texter and great in person, but I'm just like the whole package.
Right.
But like, not everyone's me.
Yeah. It's an issue.
Also, like lately, I'm good with my texting in the sense of content. I'm bad at using my phone these days because I either ignore text because I just am too overwhelmed to answer, or I don't want to answer, or I forget to answer. And I'm just busy. But I think if you can get me to commit to like a half hour like FaceTime or phone call, that's where it's at.
It's quite an interview process. That's
oh yeah.
Was it 3 rounds or something?
Okay, but this is like
you have them do a project level for you also?
It's a top level job. I actually have an application.
Right, it sounds like it.
I have a real application.
Wow. But
it's like a top level job. So
right.
Of course it's going to be a strict interview process.
Right. You're not just letting anyone in.
Yeah. I mean, I might talk to anyone for like a second.
Right, but to get to the next round, it's not so push it.
No. And like half the time guys don't make it past a call.
Yeah. Wow. I like that. I don't think it's bad to do a little phone call. And I think there's a certain amount, maybe like a 6 to 10 text thread before I would make the move. I think it shows a little confidence, but yeah, I agree to just say, let's grab coffee after a couple exchanges. It's a little much.
Yeah. Also, here's the thing too. I think it depends on the person. I happen to not have so much time in my life.
Right.
So like, why do I want to take 2 hours out of my life to go meet a random guy who might murder me for a drink?
Mm-hmm.
When like I could like watch Love is Blind.
Right.
Or like hang out with my friends.
Yeah. Yeah, you got priorities.
Yeah, so like I don't want to just meet some random man in a bar who might murder me.
Yeah. No, for sure. It's definitely tricky to properly set it up. Yeah, man, dating's tough. Dating's really tough. I just feel like there is an energy on people that so desperately want it that's just off-putting, and you could feel that energy. And I know that energy, and I think women know that energy, and then there's an energy that you give off where you've worked on yourself and you're not really needing others, and paradoxically that actually will bring other people to you.
So what energy am I giving off right now? What's my dating energy?
What's your dating energy?
Yeah, can you read my dating energy right now?
You kind of like taken over a little bit. That's what it is. I feel like I could just sit in silence for like 45 minutes. Dating energy, that sounds a little rough. I feel like that was a rough critique, but I'm a comedian. This is what happens when you have comedians on. We're just, there is no filter. I'm just,
it's fine.
That dating energy is just, you think you could get anyone, and maybe you can. I don't know. But it's you gotta give off a vibe. I think the less intentional about it, the better it is. Like I used to. I'm not gonna lie. I read this book called The Game. You ever hear of that book, The Game?
No.
The Game is literally a book written for like just the depths of the worst types of people. It's a game on how to get woman, or it's a book on how to get woman, written by a guy who he was a journalist that joined a group where they essentially took courses by these I don't know what the term is, but whatever, these people that would train to pick up artists. That's the term. They would go to like these Las Vegas clubs and try all these different things. There's something called peacocking, which is like you wear some weird object like a big hat, and then girls come up to you and they're like, "What's the deal with that hat?" And that's to like so I would wear like weird watches or something, and whatever. It's all these stupid things that like hacks the. I'm doing air quotes for all you listeners, that hacks the like biological deficiencies of women. Again, end air quotes. And I used to read that stuff, and it's like all these guys now are trying so hard to manufacture this coolness, but you just can't do it. It's a very you got to just be confident in yourself, and before you go out in the dating world. That's my number one advice. It's the only way to do it. That's the energy you want to give off. You want to give off that you're confident in yourself, and that's like a security blanket. People like that. People like someone they're not trying to force, a square peg into a circle hole. You know what I mean? They're not trying to fit things in that don't fit in. They go with the flow. They're relaxed. I think that's what makes someone very attractive. Would you agree, Rachel?
I like someone who's confident, but I also like someone who's intentional.
Right.
Like, I want a guy to be like, I want to take you on a date. And, like, I'm going to make a plan for the date. Here's what we're doing. I offered to walk or Uber me home. I probably won't accept his offer to Uber me home. But, like, if we're in my neighborhood, I'll let him walk me home. Like, I like a guy who texts me to confirm. A guy who... I don't know. You're like, oh yeah, be laid back, but I'm like, no, I want intent.
Right.
Like, I want someone intentional, but I'm also like past that stage of like being chill.
Yeah, that's tricky. I've noticed this with a lot of guys my age as well. It's like at a certain point, you need it to have. You're not willing to wait around. You're not willing to be flexible with it or kind of play the field. It's like you have the intention, you know what you want, and you just want it already.
Yeah, but I'm not even saying like in terms of like being like the way you're saying it is like, oh, they're desperate to have it. I'm not saying desperate. I'm saying like a guy knows he wants to go on a date with me. He makes it clear to me. He likes me. He makes his feelings known to me. It's not a game. Like, I'm also at the stage, like, I'm not trying to just like make friends. I'm not here to like
not
yeah.
messing around.
Yeah, I'm not messing around. I'm here to like find someone to marry. And like, okay, if that doesn't happen tomorrow, it doesn't happen tomorrow. I'm not going to try to make something work that doesn't work. But like, I want someone who's intentional about dating. They don't have to be like, oh my God, I need this to work no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Like, let it be. Like, in that sense, I do agree with you. But in the other sense, it's like, okay, but sometimes in order for something to work, you have to put in the effort.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you're never going to know if it's going to work unless, like, there's effort put in. On
For
both
sure.
sides.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, you definitely have to put in the work. It ain't easy. It ain't easy. And that's why there's podcasts about dating. If it was so easy, there would be no industry around the dating stuff.
Yeah.
It's also, I mean, it's tricky with us because modern Orthodox is such a subset of a subset of people, you know? And I feel like it's so rare. Like, it's rare for me to find someone who's interested in the same music that I'm, just because it's such a small pool to choose from, you know? Mm-hmm. So you really have to, my brother always tells me this, and I really like what he says. He deals with people who have ROCD, which is like relationship obsessive compulsive disorder. So they have these compulsive thoughts about whether someone's good for them or not. So let's say someone, I don't know, doesn't like do the dishes or whatever. Then they have this compulsive thought that, okay, they're not going to do the dishes, and then later we're going to have kids, and the kids are going to see that they don't do the dishes and rebel and do drugs. Like these insane thoughts of things that might not ever happen. But he tells me this interesting thing about like when you're with a partner or in a relationship, like think about your wants versus your needs, like what you want in someone, but what you also need in someone, right? So maybe I want someone to have the same taste in music, but I need someone to be modern Orthodox. So which wants are you willing to sacrifice for the needs? I think is also very important to think about, because there's just, I just think it's going to be really hard. This sounds brutal, but to find your exact criteria within such a subset of a subset is really difficult. Like you said, you know, if you could date outside of the very small pool that we had, you'd be good. To be, you know, problem solved. So it's like, okay, but the reality is you're dating within the subset of a subset. So how do you make it work? How do you adjust? Because you can't, you know, it's like you're in that job that you're talking about, but you can't really get a better job. This sounds bad comparing this with Jews, but it's like you can't really get out of this situation. So it's, how can you create such a situation that works for you? And it's really difficult. I really, you know, people that are frustrated with this, it's hard. You're trying to find someone with such a specific criteria, especially if you want someone different than you, because we all grew up very similar, right? Mm-hmm. So to find someone that has a very different taste in culture and music and aesthetics and things like that, it's like, yeah, but I went to the same school as this person. So how are they going to have such a different viewpoint on life if they were literally reared the same way I was reared? That's why I love dating this British girl. Like, she's great and supportive and kind and everything, but she also grew up so differently than me. And so that challenges my perspective, and it challenges, you know, the way I think and the way I see. But the problem with dating within this pool is it's like an endless cycle. It's like, okay, a 5 towns person dates a 5 towns person, or a person that went to Yavna dates a person that went to Yavna. And it's like, you guys are going to have the same viewpoints. You're going to have the same taste in music, the same this, the same that. And it kind of breeds this similarity and lack of diversity. It's a very scary thing. And then I really think that leads to this like crises of who you want to date, because you're trying to find someone that is different than you and that excites you. So when you meet these non-Jews, it usually excites you because they are so different and they have this different approach to life, and that's amazing and you can learn from that. But then you meet someone that was raised the same exact way that you were, and I do think that like there's a beauty in that they understand your Judaism and things like that, but there's also a bit of a harshness in the fact that you guys are so similar.
See, I'm okay with that.
Brilliant response.
Like, well, first of all, I think I'm always going to be different than someone else that I date, just because, like, I didn't grow up in Teaneck. I didn't grow up in the 5 towns. Like, I'm from Ohio.
Right. So you would be considered an exotic Jew.
Yeah. So, like, anyone I date is going to have a different unless they literally grew up in the same town as I did. Like, in the same city as I did, went to the same school. And in that case, I probably... I mean, it's not impossible. Like, I'm not... Never say never with that stuff. But, like, it's probably... I'm never probably going to marry somebody who is from my same city, who went to my same school where we had, like, 40 kids in our high school.
Right.
So, like... the guys that I date, I'm actually excited when someone matches my like religious level and someone
Right.
match it, because I don't know, I feel like the guys that I've dated have been so diverse in the sense, like, I've dated guys who aren't as religious, I've dated guys who are way more religious, and it's like, for me, it's rare to actually like have a good connection with somebody who is my religious level and like grew up in the same sort of like modern Orthodox
Does that scare
like
you a bit?
community.
I mean, if you were to date someone that's less religious than you don't think that would cause problems down the line?
Oh, it
Like,
does.
you're very firm in your Yiddishkeit, right?
Yeah, it does. I've been
It
there.
does,
I've
right.
been there. Like,
So you're saying you enjoy doing that, but realistically, you're not going to be with someone long term that is like that.
yeah, I mean, I tried it, and at the end of the day, it didn't work out because it was too different. And like, even though we said we weren't that different, like our basic, if your basic fundamentals don't match with somebody, it's not going to work
Yeah.
unless you try to make it work or it's not as important to you. But like, if it's important to me to do something and it's important to him to not do something, then like that's never going to work. But I'm saying, for me, I'm totally cool with like dating a guy who grew up in a similar way as me and is my like very similar level of religiousness, very similar outlooks on things. Like, I'm okay with not being challenged with that kind of stuff. Like, I think where you get where I want to be challenged is other things. I don't need my viewpoint on religion or like the Orthodox community challenged. I think that's fine.
Right.
And obviously I'm going to have a different perspective. Like, it's funny, I was like talking to my friend before, and she sent me this guy who her cousin sent her earlier this week, and I was like, okay, like, whatever. Like, sure, why not? Here's my resume. And the Shad Khan reached out to me. And I'm like, okay, cool. And she's like, are you willing to relocate from New York City? And I'm like, okay, to where? I'm like, yeah. Or no, I said, where? I'm like, in general, yes, but like, to where? And she's like, to Brooklyn. And I'm like, I'd literally rather die than move to Brooklyn. I didn't tell her that. But like, I don't know. My perspective is going to be, even if I went out with this guy who lived in Brooklyn, my perspective on life is going to be very different than the guy who lived in Brooklyn. Even if we're like the same level of modern Orthodox. Like, he might have gone to a similar school with similar values, but like, it's not the same. Or like guys who I've dated from Long Island, from New Jersey, all of these places that are like huge Jewish communities. It's not the same as like my 40-kid high school.
Mm-hmm.
Or like growing up in a community where I've been friends with my friends from home since we were like babies.
Right.
So I think I'm always going to have, and like, if I do meet someone from a similar background like that, that's fine too. Like, I did date a guy who was from a small community also. I mean, I've dated more than one, but like in my recent past that I can remember. And it's like cool discussing. It's like, oh, like, I'm sure you get this, I get this. Like, we went to similar types of schools, similar types of communities. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What I'm saying?
I think you're lucky in that you're in the minority of non-tri-state Jews. But I think for a tri-state Jew, I could tell you firsthand that a lot of my friends feel that frustration of, I don't know, you see it all the time in New York. Like, at all these parties, they're like, ugh, I'm like not in the scene, but I'm in the scene. And it's just this constant thing of, okay, but why are people frustrated with this? And I really do think it comes down to, like, you seem like you're fine if, you know, certain things aren't challenged, but I think what creates a very cool culture in society is having those ideas challenged. That's how you create change, and that's how you create art and culture, really. And I think it could kind of curtail culture if you're just having an echo chamber of people voicing the same opinions and the same ideas. I think that's very dangerous.
Yeah, but I think I can have other opinions that aren't like my most basic fundamentals. That I'm okay agreeing with someone on the most basic fundamentals, and then like challenging each other in other opinions.
Right. I think I'm thinking more along the lines of, you know, culture and taste and.
Yeah. No, I understand like what you're saying.
Like, I've gone to so many Shabbos meals where the conversations are the same. Like, I I could play I play Shabbos meal bingo with some of my friends where I'm just like, I guarantee we're going to talk about these topics, and they're always talked about.
Yeah. I mean, any Shabbos meal anyone's at with me, I talk about the podcast.
Right.
Like, play bingo on that. Play a drinking game. How many
Right.
times I can bring up the podcast.
Right.
But I don't know. You definitely make a good point, and I think people should be more open to not living in the New York area. That's the moral that I'm taking away.
Right. It's not easy if you want to... I lived in Texas before this, and I'll tell you, the Orthodox Jewish dating pool in Austin, Texas was not very large.
No,
I think people always come here and they're like, I gotta find my wife.
I don't mean for dating in particular, but it's like once you're already like ready to settle down, like
Get out.
Like, don't need to buy a house in Teaneck. Like, go buy a house in like Atlanta or Chicago or anywhere.
Yeah.
In Montana, go to the middle of nowhere.
That'd be great. I think it's starting to happen. I have some friends that are out in Utah and other random states, and they're doing well. It's pretty cool. I think it's time with remote working and everything. I think you could actually be Jewish in places where there's not a lot of Jews. It's very interesting.
Yeah, that's cool. Coming from somewhere, being Jew. Well, there are a lot of Jews where I'm from, just not a lot of like religious Jews. There's a community, but it's not like we come to New York. Like, my parents come to New York, and it's like, oh my gosh, restaurants, grocery store, like
nothing quite like this place.
But yeah, okay. Before we move into our wrap up, do you have any other thoughts that you would like to share?
I feel like I got to the bottom of something that I've been frustrated with for a while. I really do think this is a lot of frustration. We're in a weird time as a society in general. We're in a weird time as a religion. We're in a weird time of humanity. I really think that maybe it's the comic in me. We're trained to see these things a little bit differently and maybe a little more cynically. But I do think there's a lot of hope in... Listen, if you could just look someone in the eye these days, your interpersonal skills are already leagues above people that are just glued to their phones. Just look up. I think people just got to look up more. I mean, treat every day like Shabbos and you'll find your Besheret, honestly. Like, I'm telling you, there's all these, there's all these mixers and whatnot, and there's all these guys that are, like, kind of trying, but not really. And like you said, like, just show your intentions, and it's really simple from there. Don't be creepy about it, but, like, show a person you're interested, be a mensch about it, and that's all it takes. It's really, I could tell you as someone who's been around many a years in this scene, that's what people are looking for. Yeah.
I like that.
Me too.
Treat every day like Shabbos.
Just treat
and you'll
every day
find
like
your
Shabbos.
Besheret.
Yeah. That's my...
Is that going to be your tagline? Is that your...
I don't know.
That's your advice?
Yeah, I feel like that's good.
For both?
Yeah.
Okay, so Mikey's advice to everyone is treat every day like Shabbos, and you'll find your Besheret, which is also his tagline.
Yeah, I like that. I'm going to get that tattooed across my chest.
You should.
Yeah.
But, like, not permanent ink.
Right. Apparently you can't even do non-permanent. You know those, like, 9-month tattoos? You hear about those things?
Yeah, you can't do those?
No, I asked a rabbi about it, and apparently it goes too deep in your skin, so it's still there. We're going to BS stuff like that wants me to just have kitniot on Pesach. It's just like, this is getting too much.
You could just, like, be a Sephardi.
I've been trying. They won't let me into deal yet, but once I get into deal...
You kind of look the part.
I'm Sephardi passing.
Yeah, you're definitely Sephardi passing.
I appreciate that.
I think I used to be Sephardi passing, but then I got really white.
Right.
Maybe in the summer.
Yeah. Get a little spray tan going.
Yeah. No, you're definitely Sephardi passing.
Thank you.
As an Ashkenazi person...
You know that's the nicest thing you could say. Well, that's the second. The nicest thing you could tell a Jew is you don't look Jewish. And the second nicest thing is you look Sephardi. Those are the two nicest things that you could tell someone.
Well, I look very...
The worst thing you could say is, oh, you look like an Ashkenazi Jew. That is the meanest thing you could say to a Jew.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't take offense to it.
You look like an Ashkenazi Jew.
I do.
You didn't feel a little bit when I said that? A little?
No, it's the truth.
Right.
I mean, my hair happens to be, like, blown out, so you can't see it in all its, like, wavy, frizzy glory.
Right.
Of, like, the Ashkenazi
the full,
Jew.
Right.
So you're not getting the full effect of Ashkenazi Jew, but, like, I got my nose, like...
Baruch Hashem.
My nose.
May
Baruch
we all
Hashem.
merit to look as Jewish as you, Rachel. Soon by
Amen.
you. Soon by you. Soon by us.
Soon by all of us.
Yeah, soon by all of us.
Well, Mikey, this has been a lot of fun. I
Thank
hope
you.
you also had fun.
Yeah, this has been a blast. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing your insights.
Hey, listen, guys, if you want to find some good Jewish comedy in the tri-state area, boy, do I have a page for you to follow. It's called Jewish Vibes, and not only am I out there posting memes, and you know what? When I started, they said, Mikey, there's not that many modern Orthodox Jews on Instagram, and there's not that many that are going to get your dumb old memes. And listen, 26,000 followers later, baby, we are rolling. And if you want to see that genius come out in IRL, in the real life, go throw a follow. Head to my link tree. In my bio, you could click on it and you could see upcoming shows in New York and beyond. Or if you have a simcha, you're throwing a wedding or something, and you're like, I don't want any more Jewish singers. I want a comedian. Let's change it up for once in our dumb, pathetic lives. Sorry, I shouldn't have called your life pathetic. I really need a job, so... Listen, what I'm trying to say is I could do Jewish comedy. I could do non-Jewish comedy.
I'll hire you to do a joke at my wedding.
I could do one
That's your
joke at a
promise.
wedding. Ideally, just hire me to do one joke at your wedding, and I'll charge the full price. That's
Will you only if you do it right as I'm walking down the aisle,
I'll do it right as you're walking down the aisle.
or right before.
It'll be one of the Sheva. It'll be a
Or it's
Shmona
like,
Bracha.
it's like break the glass, and then you tell a joke, and then everyone screams Mazel Tov.
Okay, that would be great. That's a
think
good
that's
feedback mechanism. Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thanks for coming. And I'll include all of Mikey's information in the description on the podcast episode.
Right.
So it'll be easy if you didn't catch any of that, don't want to go back and listen. I'll have it all on the post.
Oh,
so,
thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Sticky Situation Nation, it's been real. And you'll catch me next time. Bye, everybody.